Both my husband and I were home. It was May 1st, 2012. It was a Tuesday, I remember it specifically.
It was a night like most inside their Farmington home with their newest family member. Luke was 16 months old, a busy boy with his favorite tool in hand.
I mean, I was sitting probably a little bit further than I am sitting from you, and we're all watching TV, and he's hammering away on the wall.
That seemingly ordinary moment would forever change the course of the Olsons' lives as Sarah got up to change the channel.
Paul goes, "Sarah, he fell." And I said, "What?" And I turned and looked, and we have a couch in front of our window, and there's about this wide of an opening. And in the time that I went to go turn on Wheel of Fortune, he went to hammer on the windowsill and pushed with his hand.
Luke fell 15 feet. He landed on the only piece of cement in the Olsons' backyard. Paul ran outside to scoop up their son as Sarah dialed 911.
That's probably when the biggest denial set in, because there was no blood. He had a big bump on his head.
Within minutes, paramedics were on scene.
I remember them saying, "Show me where it happened," and Paul took him back there. And it's almost like everyone else went quiet, and I heard, "Oh," and that's when my heart sunk, like things aren't okay. I remember walking out to the ambulance, and all my neighbors were outside, and I just was so scared. And I rode in the ambulance, and it was just a deafening silence. And the next thing I know, he was in the ambulance to a local school where he was going to be airlifted.
A medical team took Luke to Gillette Children's Specialty Healthcare in St. Paul.
And then you get here, and they're like, the first person you meet from the hospital, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna set you aside in this other room," and you're going, "Okay, this isn't." They don't usually just set everybody aside in a separate room. And
Gillette's had brought a chaplain to come talk to us, and my first instinct was, "Oh, we don't need you." Like, no, go away, we don't need a chaplain. But that's when the ER doctors came out and said, "I can't spend much time with you because your son's very sick."
Their son suffered a traumatic brain injury. His skull severed a major artery in his brain.
It was more than just bleeding on the brain. It was that they couldn't stop the bleeding.
Within an hour of his fall, Luke went into surgery.
And I remember I didn't want to get close because I wanted all the nurses and doctors to do their thing. But literally when we walked in, it's like the sea parted. They're like, "Mom and Dad are here," and all the professionals just stepped back and said, "Get close, hug him, kiss him." And that meant a lot, just to kind of see him like separate, knowing that that's what Luke needed. I think at that time they knew more than we did that may have been the last time that we were going to see him. So I think, that was part of the reason that they kind of gave us our time with him. The doctor came out and said, "Your son scared me, and I don't get scared." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "I almost lost him." And it doesn't compute with you. You're in a hospital. He's okay. He's here. There wasn't blood. What do you mean? But he said it was very scary, and he almost lost him.
But their little boy pulled through. Transferred to the pediatric intensive care unit to begin the battle still ahead.
this is the first 72 hours, I think is what they said. And if he makes it past that, then we're doing pretty good. So it's like you're not
leaving us.
You're not going anywhere.
After their first night sprawled out on Luke's floor and the small couch in his hospital room, Sarah and Paul registered for the Ronald McDonald family room, a common space, kitchen, and 4 private bedrooms tucked away in the corner of the hospital, offering free comfort to families at Gillette's for more than 4 years. In the Twin Cities, the nonprofit has grown from one small house near the U of M to 4 metro locations, serving 4,000 families a year.
You don't understand until you've actually had to use it how important each one of these places is to people. It's just invaluable how much service they do for people.
For me personally, having a room to go to at night and just to be able to cry meant the world, because people don't want to see you cry, but you need it. And you need time by yourself to say, this sucks.
Sarah and Paul believe their family room stay gave them the strength they needed to support their son. forced to make difficult decisions as he fought back after his fall.
In here, it was a safe place to talk and just be.
2 weeks after his accident, doctors finally let Luke wake up.
And just to see his eyes, it's like, okay, he's there. Like, you can just see his soul when you look at his eyes, and he has bright blue eyes. So it was just so good to see it.
After several setbacks and surgeries, the Olsons spent a total of more than 2 months in the hospital before their son was given the green light to go home.
I got it!
Nearly 3 years have passed. Luke is almost 5 years old now. You can see how he still favors his right side, but what's even easier to see is the happy young boy he's grown to be.
The thing about Luke is we set a hope for him, not an expectation, because he's going to do what he's going to do. You know, it's like, well, let's just hope he can recognize his left side, and then he does. And then we said, like, okay, well, let's hope he can walk again, and then he's walking. And I mean, I even remember when he started moving his left finger, my husband and I just lost it. I mean, we called everyone, we videotaped it. And now he's playing basketball and shooting, and I mean, he's a busy kid.
To where? Yeah. School. Tell her who your favorite bus driver is. John.
John.
Yeah,
You get to ride the bus to go to school?
So yeah.
Luke is in school and also busy as a big brother to Ben. The Olsons knew they wanted to give back for all they were given at the Ronald McDonald Family Room. Paul's workplace sponsors a monthly meal, and the Olsons are often back to serve, giving families in the middle of their own hospital stays hope for the future.
It's such a small thing that we can do to help other people when we know what they're going through. It's one less thing they have to worry about.
I hope that no one ever has to use this. But if they do, I'm glad that there's still people funding it, because I would be disappointed if they ever experienced a dip in service and had anything less than what I had. Creating a place like this really preserves the family. It really helps people to cope in a situation that you never think you'd be in.
Life to the Max is brought to you by Lifetouch, photography for a lifetime.